Welcome, luxury enthusiasts, to the Luxury Travelers Podcast, hosted by Rodney George. The ultimate passport to opulent destinations, extravagant experiences, and unparalleled indulgence. Whether one is a seasoned jet setter or daydreaming of the next lavish getaway, the Luxury Travelers Podcast has it all covered. So buckle up and prepare for a journey into the lap of luxury. Now, your host.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time of day it is that you're watching or listening to this podcast. I'm Rodney George, and this is a passion of mine that I've been thinking about for the last 18 to 24 months, a Luxury Travelers Podcast. From the perspective of what's going on, what's new, how can I learn, how can I grow, how can I better understand this crazy place called Earth. 16 years ago, I retired from the financial services industry, and after about 6 months of playing golf every day, I realized I might not be cut out for retirement. And so a really good friend of mine said, well, why don't you go to work for a travel agency because you've been everywhere? Well, number one, I had not been everywhere. And number two, the last thing I wanted to do was work for someone else. And so he said, well, start your own, which is exactly what I did 16 years ago. And today I'm thrilled to tell you that it has become a very thriving enterprise, a huge, huge part of my life, because I have 9 wonderful ladies that work with me day in and day out. And combined, we have over 200 years of travel experience, helping people plan world-class vacations, helping people see the world, helping people understand what's out there for them and what they want to go see next. So you may say, well, why a podcast then if you're so busy doing all this? I think the most important reason for a podcast is to enlighten and inform. Because you see, an enlightened and informed and well-educated traveler is our best client. So it's a little bit of a self-interest thing here from the perspective that if we educate you, if we inform you, if we enlighten you, and if we bring you new and different and challenging ways to see the world, that will become a more valuable part of your life. We're going to teach you new things. We're going to expose you to new things about the world and to meet literally the movers and shakers throughout the travel industry. We're going to have senior management from all the major luxury travel providers around the world, all the way up to CEOs. We've already interviewed one CEO. We have a CEO coming on the show in a few days, and after that, another CEO, founders of companies, VPs of global sales, tourism boards from around the world. It's going to be really exciting to learn from all these different people who in some way or another have their hand on the world of luxury travel. The format's really simple. It's going to be 30 to 35-minute podcast segments brought to you every week on Wednesday, and you'll be able to download them in audio or video at any place where you get your podcast now. Sound good? Let's move forward. We'll do a 25-minute or 26-minute or 27-minute interview with our guest, and then we have a segment called Ask the Travel Guy. That's me. Well, how do you get your questions to me? Well, there's a variety of ways. You could call them in, you could email them, or even easier, on our website, you just record your message. We'll retrieve it at the end of the day, and we'll save it for next week's podcast. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things from hot destinations around the world. One of our biggest challenges as a luxury travel provider is that a lot of our clients have been there, done that. Well, we constantly are looking for new and different places in the world for them to see. A new oyster, if you will. We're going to talk a lot about the do's and don'ts of travel so that you can have more of a world-class vacation regardless of where you are, what you're doing, and where you want to be. We're going to talk a lot about the tips and traps of travel. I travel several times a year. All of my staff travels, so we know the ins and outs around the world. As a matter of fact, one of the most exciting destinations that we see people begging to go to right now is Antarctica. Well, you got to know what you're doing to go to Antarctica. Finally, we're going to have an Ask the Travel Guy segment, And that will probably become one of the most popular parts of the podcast because it'll be people just like you that are getting their questions answered, resolved, and getting facts that they may or may not know. The one thing I cannot emphasize enough is we want this to be your podcast. We're going to bring you the great people from the world of luxury travel, but this is yours. It's open to you. It's open to your family. It's open to your friends and all of our listeners around the globe. So let us know what you want. Let us know what you're interested in. Let us know what your questions are. And be sure and tell your friends all about us. Oh, and when you get that first podcast downloaded, be sure and like us. Be sure and subscribe to us so that you're always on the cutting edge of sharing that knowledge or experience with those people around you. If you're like me, and I love bragging rights. I love to be the first kid on my block when I was a kid to have a new bicycle. Today, I love being the first person in my life that's been there, done that. And so I love to share that. We'll help you get to those places so that you can understand how it feels to have bragging rights. So for now, I wish you nothing but the best, and I wish you all safe travels, and I hope you tune in every week and get this great information on the Luxury Travelers Podcast. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining us on the Luxury Travelers Podcast. For more information, head on over to luxurytravelerspodcast.com to connect with our team or leave us a message. Until next time, safe travels and savor the extraordinary.